the housekeeping awesome Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Bingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. We are excited. We got our second week of Lightweight Month, and we got with us the man, Robbie Lavoie. What you doing, my friend? How you doing?
What's going on? I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on the show. Looking forward to tonight's episode and having some fun chatting with you guys.
Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. We had a great time talking with Donald Brady last week, and
Awesome.
This week we just took it to the next level, to this next. Well, I feel like you're kind of the same age range as you are as myself,
Hey,
but like that same thing. We've been through this for years, right? So I say 90s, 2000s, whatever. So
2010s, now 2020s.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? Just continuing on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man. One thing I want to do before we go in there, we had a couple passings this week. So I wanted to recognize Pops Krasno and Richard Bearfield. Both were from California. Very big names on the West Coast in NBL, NASCA. Pops was the person who started Sherman Oaks Raiders and helped that team move forward, which was one of the legendary West Coast teams. And Richard Bearfield was the first person from the West Coast to win overall grands in NBL for Super Grands 2 years in a row, and also the first person from California to be on JPM. So both of those guys had significant, but just prayers for their families and for everyone who supports them. So. But yeah, so just want to mention that before we move on with the rest of our show, guys. So,
Yeah, it's very important that we did that. But
Yes.
Here we are. We are very much in it. We're still carrying on Lightweight Month with one of the greatest.
Yes.
I'll say most exciting lightweight.
Yeah, I agree.
Robbie Lavoie. But hey, you know what? We just had the Super Bowl. Robbie, did you watch it?
Of course, man. I absolutely love football, man. I've followed football since like the mid '90s, and the Cowboys were the kind of the dynasty when I was a little bit younger and stuff like that. I think I was like 10 or 11, and they won like 3 out of 4 championships. And ever since then, I loved watching the Cowboys. And unfortunately, to this day, I'm still a Cowboys fan. So,
so you're a Cowboys fan?
Yeah,
Cool.
I love football. Yeah, and the Super Bowl was cool. I wasn't a big fan of the halftime show. Kind of stopped watching the halftime show, and then got back into the game, man. But I enjoy watching Brady. A lot of people hate on him, but it's a pleasure to watch greatness while we still can. You never know how long it'll be that he's still playing in the NFL. So it's just fun. You got to appreciate it while it lasts.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Definitely.
So who did you pick to win?
I wanted the Bucs to win. I wanted Brady to win again. If I had to choose, I really wanted Brady to win. Just what he's still able to do at his age is an inspiration, man. And just like I said, watching greatness, you got to appreciate it while you can, right? So watching him win another one was something pretty special, man. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Robbie,
if you missed it,
go ahead. Yeah,
Alex. What we mentioned, the last part about that is, it's Jeff. My streak is still going, is it not?
Yeah. He's done 20
streak is
years
still
in
going.
a row picking the wrong team to win the Super Bowl.
That's
Rob,
Yeah.
you got a 50-50 shot every year. I think it's 22 years straight. Wrong team.
That's crazy.
So that's what I said.
so-
Last week I said, hey, here's my pick. You got any kind of money that's worth something to you? Run to the bank with that and put it on the Bucs, but whatever.
Yeah, I waited too long to do that. So,
What would you have made if you would have put like $50 down? What would you have made?
Well, here's the deal. FanDuel was doing this thing like for new subscribers that they were putting 55 to 1 odds on everyone. So if you put $5 down, you're going to make like $275.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. So if it was your first time doing it. So yeah. So they were, yeah, it's crazy.
So don't do it till next Super Bowl, and then put some money down on it, and you know you're going to get that because you'll be a first time one. That's a good way to get some new people in, and you get them in there. You make them feel like they won something, like, oh, I'm going to do this again, and then now you're hooked, and then you got their money. I know. It's like the casino.
Man. So Robbie, before we get into like the past and your journey, just tell us about some of the things that happened recently. So you were supposed to be doing one of the VFT fights, and you got injured. So explain what you're doing right now and what happened and where you're at with your progress.
Like my knee was bothering me since like last August or September, and I just kind of like I ignored it. I'm pretty stubborn, so I kind of ignored it. And I just thought it was just kind of like something a little nagging and stuff like that, and started progressively getting a little bit worse. And then I fought on the pro point in October. And after that, I was like, my knee is pretty sore, but I kept training for about a month and a bit. And it wasn't getting better. I took a little bit of time off after the pro point. I took a couple weeks off. I got back to training, and it was still really nagging, and it was worse than it was. And it got progressively worse as I was trying to train for the virtual fight tour. And I saw a doctor maybe 3 weeks before the virtual fight tour, and he's like, we need to get you an MRI on your meniscus and a couple other things. So, my knee's actually starting to feel a lot better. My knee's back in shape. I had to get some work done from the doctor and stuff. I'm just going to keep that, like, kind of what's wrong with it kind of to myself. But, it was a pretty serious, pretty bad injury, really. So it'll be nagging for a while. But the kind of the treatments and stuff like that I've been getting on my knee, I've been helping a lot. So my knee's starting to feel better and better. And actually, the last couple of weeks, I've been able to train pain-free for the first time in like 6-7 months. So
Nice.
Things have been working. So yeah, it actually feels really good. So I feel like I kind of have a new knee again. So training's going well again and stuff like that too. So I'm pretty grateful that it works and stuff like that. So just back training full time and stuff like that and teaching. So everything's getting a lot better. So hopefully the world opens up soon and I'm able to fight again pretty soon too.
Awesome. Now, have you been doing like therapy through a different person, a different place, or I know that you guys have like a trainer there at your school that is pretty experienced as well.
So I'm sure I know you do, Sushi, but I know that you guys know Mark Mansour. He's a sports medicine doctor in Ottawa now, so he's actually the one taking care of my knee and helping me with everything going forward with my knee. So he knows all about sport karate because he did it
so it works,
absolutely ever. Yeah, and he's one of my good friends too. So so it works. He understands kind of like the process and what I want to get back to. So he's been the one kind of taking care of me through this rehab and stuff like that.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's the best thing, dude. Like, that's the best. When you have someone, for me, every time I've had knee problems, I would go to the same physical therapist, and the guy had a son who grew up doing martial arts with me, so he knew exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so like if anyone can get something like that, it's rare, it's hard, but
absolutely,
it's definitely a big suggestion to try.
Absolutely, he's done great with kind of the treatments I'm getting done on my knee and stuff like that. So, and he's helped me out a lot. So I owe it to him right now. The way I'm feeling. So it's great.
You're treating the info on your injury like a true Canadian hockey player, not divulging too much injury. That's a lower body injury, right? And that's kind of what they do.
It's just something that's going to happen through all the years, right? I've been competing so much since for at least 25 years now. You know what I mean? So like those little nagging things are going to start coming up a little bit more as I am getting older, right? So I just I've been better with listening to my body. as I've gotten a little bit older. But yeah, I'm still stubborn, you know. Just so I am.
Well, now wait a minute. You said this. Like when I'm getting a little bit older. How old are you right now?
I'm 34. I will be 35 in April.
Okay. Right.
You got prime years still left. You got a couple of them, man.
Yeah, we'll see how the body holds up, man. It feels great right now. So, yeah, wherever the wind takes me, man. And, yeah, I feel better than I have in probably a couple years right now. So I'm itching to get back out there as soon as I can, man. So, yeah, I actually feel great, training hard, just super disciplined now, especially that I'm a little bit older, super, super disciplined with a lot of things. So, yeah, I'm itching to get back out there and just see what the world has in store.
Do you think you'll ever do the 35 plus?
Never.
Don't.
No.
Well, it's like what's my biggest regret? Because once you go there, you can't. You're going back down.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
I'll probably never do the 30 to 39, like in NASCA and stuff like that, or the 35 plus. Like, if I do that, then I don't know if I'll compete anymore. You know what I mean? It's like if I fight in 18 to 29 and I'm still doing well, still having success, then I stay in there. But if I feel like I need to move up to those brackets, then it's just time for the present athletes in the future to just kind of take over. You know what I mean? Just that'll be Father Time telling me that my body's passed, and it's the next generation's turn or the present's turn. You know what I mean? So that's just. Everybody's a little bit different with it, but yeah, I plan to stay in the 18 to 29 until I'm done competing.
Right.
I tell you, the guys in their mid and late 30s, they don't want nothing to do with that smoke.
No.
They don't want none of that.
It's different too as a really not just a lightweight fighter, but a really lightweight fighter. You're going to a division that's 129 or 139 and under, and it's like 170. You're like, all right, Not that that's a big deal or whatever, but it's just different. It's a whole nother mindset. You gotta train differently. You know, it's not like because when you've been doing the 18-29, you gotta work for that speed because those kids are coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, but like the thing is too, like. When I was first in the adult division on NASCA, it was under 149, 150 was super light too. And it was 5-point matches with 2-point body kicks. So the kind of like the generation and the process has changed a lot too. Right. And the whole style of fighting and everything too is just a lot different from when I was like 17 years old, you know, so in the men's division.
Well, that's right where we want to really get to and start with that. It's a great transition point. Cool. So you competed a lot. You're out of you've lived all around the country, but right now in the States, but now you're in where in Canada? Did you say Ottawa?
I'm in Ottawa, Ontario. Yeah, the good old capital of Canada.
Sure. And you're one of the best Canadian fighters of all time, right?
Yep.
So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll tell you this, I'll never forget the first tournament I saw you fighting in. I'd never seen. Oh, because that's right. I told you, Jeff. That's right.
Yeah.
So you probably won't remember this, but it was you were on Team Straight Up. You were in the 16-17 division, and it was the Diamonds 02. It had to be 02. All right. And you were fighting, you guys won the junior team fighting division. And my brother was in the 16-17 taller. His best friend was in 16-17 shorter. And you guys were matched up against each other. And right before you guys fought, he looked at me. This dude's eyes were like this big. I'm telling you, they were like Coke bottle lenses. I'm like, calm down, Jason, calm down. And you blitzed him twice. Like, he didn't even move, right? And he looks at me, and he's like, damn, he's fast. Now, at that moment, I can't say, yeah, dude, I don't know what to tell you, you know? Which is kind of what I wanted to say. I'm like, no, man, you're fast. Get back out there. And he turned and he's like, you're right. And he got out there. You guys had a great fight. And I'm like, I remember thinking, shit, what the hell's he going to do? Right? So that's when, so you're on Team Straight Up, right? So you've been around for a little while. That was the first time I got a chance to watch you fight.
That's really cool.
So I go up to Joe and I'm like, Joe G, and I'm like, where'd you find this guy? And he goes, he's one of the best on the whole team. And he goes, people don't understand how great of a fighter Robbie is because they look at him and they think, oh, you're not that tall, I can take you. And before they know it, they're down 3 points and they don't know, and they don't have a plan as to what to do. And that's kind of been one of your MOs through your career. Then there comes the time where it's like, oh no, I know what Robbie's going to do. And they still sit back like they're going to defensive sidekick you, which is a bad plan, right? And they're still down 3 points.
Yeah. So explain that.
I don't know, man. It's just one thing, like I've always been shorter. I've never been the tall guy, you know. So yeah, just growing up and just always being shorter, I've always had to kind of like think ahead. I've always had to have like a good IQ with sparring and just have a good understanding of where the matches go and stuff, right? And just understanding different styles. And I've been able to kind of control my distance really well since I was younger, right? So yeah, like I score a lot with my hands, but I also had some time where I score with my feet. It all just, for me, it comes down to stylistic matchups, right? You can, if I want to score with my punches and you're expecting that, I just got to find a way to set up my punches, right? I got to mask what I'm doing, like mask some kicks, kind of give you something to look at while I'm adjusting to your footwork to set up my hands, right? So it all comes down to like my strategy, controlling my distance, and just having that belief in myself as well too. I've always trained really hard, and just having that self-belief in like my skill set, right? I know I bring a tough challenge for a lot of people. I make my size and my advantage, right? I'm a smaller target. I'm going to be faster, be harder to hit, right? So yeah, I have a tendency of frustrating people and making people make mistakes. And yeah, I just kind of just always played on that, and just one thing led to another, and I've had a great opportunity to have some success in my career, and yeah, I just continue to work hard, and just, but yeah, my fighting IQ, just knowing myself, knowing my skill set, and just yeah, just making up plans, and but being true to my skill set, man, and just relying and trusting it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I mean, that's awesome. That's a great way to explain it. Explain just your background and why you think that's led to your success, like being at your school and also the opportunities you got being at that school. Talking about the international fighting with the WK and the WKC and stuff.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I was really lucky to be being at this school. Like when I was younger, we had a bunch of great juniors. Like I was speaking about Mark Monsoor earlier,
He was awesome.
and he's fantastic. And me and him have known each other since I was 6 years old, and we train together on a daily basis. But we had Fortunato and Dominic Aversa to look up to when we were at that age, right? And we got to see them in the training room all the time, and actually got to work out with them as well. We had like Miguel Moreno. I don't know if a lot of you guys know him, but he's back in the WK days. And like, yeah, just seeing that when you were a kid, to kind of emulate and kind of have as role models and mentors. When you're like 7, 8, 9 years old, you get to see them winning all these world championships and how hard they worked when they're probably about, I know Dom's about 13 years older than myself.
Right.
And yeah, so when I was like 8, 9 years old, he was in his 20s. And then when I was 15, he was like 28, kind of like almost at the age that I'm at now. So it's just like seeing those guys. And then when I was about 15, I was training with Dom and Fortunato every single day, man. And sometimes I would go to their school at night after I was done in high school. I'd be done school. My dad would drive me to their karate school at night. I would train until like 11:30 at night with them, from like 8 o'clock at night till like 10:30, 11. And then Dom would drive me home, and then I'd be tired for school the next day. But I didn't care, man. I was doing what I loved to do, and it wasn't work. It's like, even to this day, like I enjoy training, right? So, yeah, I'm so fortunate to be able to grow up around those guys and have those guys to look up to when I was younger. Because if it wasn't for them and Mr. Dubris, I wouldn't have the success I have today. I owe a lot of that to them, especially in my younger years, man. So,
Right.
yeah, it's all up to them. And then with the whole WKA thing from like the mid 90s, I think my first WKA World Championship was in 1996 in Prague, Czech Republic. And that was my very first international tournament. And
how old were you at that time?
I was 9, I think, at the time of the competition, 9 or 10. And it was my first international competition. And back then, it was just 17 and under. There was no like 12 and under with weight. It was just 17 and under. Lightest weight was like minus 80 pounds. Right. And I ended up doing really well. I made the team. I ended up winning gold over there. And yeah, just from there on out, just like every year I did a WKA Worlds and then transitioned to WKC and stuff like that. And yeah, just the mid 90s to 2000s with the WKA, the level of like the junior competitors was insane. Like crazy. I remember having like 20, 30, 35 fighters in my division. And like the next year in 97, you guys probably all know Robbie Hughes, right? Mm-hmm. Robbie Hughes was in my division, 97, 98, 99, all those 3 years in a row, man. So like, it's just like that. He was an elite competitor as well. You know, I think he's one of the best lightweights too, man. And when he was around, and me and him had some wars as a junior, had some wars as an adult, and it just it goes back to just putting yourself out there. Like I wasn't afraid to compete at all, like on NASCA, NBL, just WKA. I just wanted to compete, man. I love competing everywhere and anywhere. I remember being a junior and just going to a different local every couple of weeks, you know, like sometimes I would go to like three in a row in like Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, and just got as much exposure as I can and just took it all in and just kept learning. Like, I feel if you want to be an elite competitor, you got to try to compete as much as you can. There's no substitute for ring time and experience. And it just, there's no substitute, man. And just, you got to get out there and you got to compete with the best people you can compete against. If you want to have success and you want to thrive and you truly want to get better, you got to put yourself out there and try to compete as much as you can, especially at a younger age, because that development needs to be ingrained in you as you get older.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're seeing that a lot now too with competitors that, especially during this time, who are not stopped. They're like, my goals are not on hold because of COVID. You know, you got people like Bailey and Brandon and those guys, and they're just going everywhere. We saw it last weekend with the tournament. Yeah. A lot of people from up north came down to compete and said, hey, there's a tournament going on. I'm going to do it. And absolutely. It's pretty cool. And with the opportunities that VFT and Pro Point are given right now, it's great.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I love it. And I love how like people like Jesse, Josh, and all these guys are trying to give people a platform to still compete. It's incredible what they've done, what they're doing, and just trying to make the sport better and just letting people actually get out there. You know, like times are tough right now, and like especially like for people like myself and like you guys, like I'm so used to traveling every month or 3 weeks to a tournament, man, and it's just like at times I feel trapped, you know, and it's like taking something I love away, and it's just something I'm so used to. It's hard mentally at times, and just I struggle with it at times. And I'm at this age, I couldn't like picture being like 19, 20 years old where you're like, I want to get out there, I want to make my mark, I want to keep doing this. I'd have a really tough time, man. And like I've competed everywhere and a lot, like, so it's not as tough, but like I don't know how much more time I have left, right? That I can compete at an elite level. It's up to my body and up to my higher power. You know what I mean? So whatever the world has in store for me. So it is frustrating at times because I feel great right now, but I can't compete, you know? So I couldn't.
Yeah, I understand. I was the same way, Robbie, because this year I was like, all right, this may be one of my last years. I'm feeling the best health I ever have. Let's go. Let's get ready. I was going to do a bunch of tournaments, and then there you go. Nothing, and it's just like, hey,
nonsense.
let's find something. So, stay focused, stay at it. So I understand, man. We're all dealing with that.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's not easy. Not easy.
Especially when you're in the older one, the 30 range, and you just want to get out there and compete, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I wanna have some fun these last couple of years, and see what happens.
Right. All right. So explain how. Explain how you got on Straight Up and that whole thing, because that was a big deal for you, and you were a competitor that really, I think, defined that team for a while.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. I really, really appreciate that. I think the first time that I met Joe and Hugh was at a Quebec Open. I might have been like 11, maybe 12 years old. And they just chatted with me, introduced themselves, but nothing kind of came out of it. And then that was probably in April. And then I think it was the next Compete Nationals. So the following February, maybe 6 months later. So it was like 12, maybe 13, something, maybe 12. I'm pretty sure I was 12. And I was competing, and Hugh and Joe, I think, were the referees in my division. And it was 12-13. And I actually remember who I was fighting. I think I was fighting, it was a kid on Carl Kanai, on Team Kanai. I think his name was Stefan Rubenfeld.
Yeah, Stefan Rubenfeld.
And I was fighting him. And I was fighting him. I ended up winning the division, but I tore through everybody that day. I just had a good day. I tore through everybody. But some people were talking junk afterwards. And Hugh and Joe just kind of stood up for me a little bit and just kind of got in there. And one thing led to another. Next tournament, I think, was the tournament in Tennessee. And that
David Deaton's tournament.
Yeah, it was the tournament in Tennessee. It was like a NASCA 3A at the time. And that was the next tournament, I think it was March, a couple of weeks after the Compete Nationals in February. And that was my first tournament on Straight Up from there on out, man. I liked how they stood up for me. They had my back, even though I wasn't even a team member or anything like that. They had my back, and I really appreciated it. My father and mother appreciated it too, So it was a great opportunity, and that's where things kind of led off.
So you were on Straight Up until about 2006, 5?
Right, 5, yeah.
2005.
And then in 2006, the All-Stars became a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were there. So you were on Straight Up for quite a while.
Yeah, probably about 7 years, 6, 7 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Alec, give us something about your time on Straight Up. Where it's gonna be like,
I miss it, man. I absolutely love being on that team and just surrounded by those people. They just wanted you to get better. I love being with Joey. I saw people actually thought me and Joey were brothers for the longest time, man. Everyone thought I was Joey's little brother. They're like, why haven't we seen him before? And then we'd be like, he's not we're not actually brothers. But I loved it, man. They treated me amazing. We had some of the best junior teams to this day. Incredible.
Who were the guys on that junior team?
Pardon?
Who were the guys on the junior team with you?
So the first year, I think it was me when I was the 12, 13, 14, 15 was a guy named Jose Rosa. And then 16, 17 was either Tommy Sosa or Mark Nadeau. It was one of those two. That was my first year.
Yeah.
And then the following year, Jose was the 16, 17. I was the 14, 15. And then Steven Goncalves was the 12, 13-year-old.
Right.
And then we kind of moved up. And then Dylan Smith was the 12, 13-year-old. And then Steven was the 14, 15. And then I was the 16, 17.
You don't forget nothing. My goodness.
I know. It's like karate and tournaments is like the only thing my memory works on. So.
Man, those guys.
But then there was.
Then those guys are really good too, man. Oh man.
Then Raymond joins the team, and then
I think
you guys joined a bond because from that point on, you guys have been teammates ever since.
Yeah. So I think I was like 16 or maybe 17. I was still in the juniors when Raymond and Johnny made their appearance at the Ocean State that one year. And yeah, just we created a good bond, and I was so lucky to like being a 16-year-old wanting to have success in the adult division, and I got surrounded by Jody and Raymond. Like what 16-year-old gets to say they got to go travel to tournaments and train with Jody and Raymond like monthly, and just kind of like have them as mentors when I at that age, right, where I'm starting to compete locally, about 15, 16 years old in the men's division. In the next year and a bit, I want to be fighting internationally and nationally on NASCA in the men's division, and I get those two guys to look up to. Like, that's a blessing, man. Like, there's nobody better than those two, So, and then after a while, I got to have Jason on the team as well too, like, so yeah, it was fantastic, man. So it was great to have those guys.
So what is it like with Joe Greenhall, as a coach? Just explain what he does, what that experience is like, the energy.
Oh man, I love his energy, man. Like, I really fed off of it. He got me hyped up. He knew what to say to get me in the right mindset, the right mood and stuff like that. Just kind of help me focus and like keep that focus. Cause sometimes when I was younger, I had a bit of a temper. I think we all do at times, especially like when you're about 14, 15, you're kind of egotistical. You're doing well, sometimes doing real well. And then maybe you lose to, maybe I'd lose to somebody that I didn't think I was going to lose to, So he always had the right words to say, words of encouragement, and he knew how to light a fire under my ass, man. So right. It was great. And to this day, we still have a great relationship. We talk, and when we saw each other at the Pro Point in October, it was like we never left, and like, awesome. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome, man. Now, one of the things people may not know either is, and they should by watching you fight, it's just how great of an athlete you are and an overall martial artist you are. Because really, like, you were a high-level forms competitor as well, man. Like, you,
I guess.
As a kid, man, you were killing it. You were so fast. I remember watching your form because there was someone that was on my team that I was training, and you were his top competitor, Mark Farringer. You guys used to compete against each other in forms, and so I'd be like, all right, so he's super fast, and dude, you were just super fast. You had just crazy, like, you jumped a lot higher than people thought you could, right? Because you're being a small guy, right? And so, trying to find that, but I just thought it was funny. And I think that athleticism adds, when people really watch you, just your speed, your athleticism, and of course, all the other things that go along with it. But when was it that you stopped doing forms?
I was probably about 14, about 14 or 15 years old. I just, I didn't love it anymore. I wanted things to kind of go towards one side. And I actually, my parents wouldn't let me stop for a while. And I made a bet with my dad. And I was just like, he's like, if you win this many NASCA tournaments out of this year, I think I was 13. And he's like, if you win a certain amount, or maybe I was 14. He's like, if you win this certain amount of tournaments, you don't have to do forms the next year. Yeah. Man, I hit that number and then some. I was just like, I was super motivated. And that was just kind of the end of my forms career. I might have done it once or twice past that, but more just for fun or like students asking me to do it kind of thing. Like, I honestly, if I had a good reason to do like an open form, like this year, or like anytime a tournament opens up, like student really wants to see it, or if somebody gives me a reason to do it, then I'm not against it. Like, I can still trick really well. I can still trick. I can still flip. Like, it's just a little bit harder on the body now, but I can still, do it pretty well.
But harder on the body.
Yeah. I still try to do like a flash kick or some gainers a couple times a week, just like after training, just to mess around. I want to be able to still do a backflip when I'm like 50 years old, So, would be a pretty cool thing to be able to do. So yeah, I try to just do it every now and then. I don't do a lot of it, but if I needed to bust out a form, I still can. And I still teach traditional forms on a daily basis as well, right? So I know I still have it. I'm still a martial artist. Like, just because I chose to compete in sparring doesn't mean I can't do bow. I can't do kamas. I can't do traditional forms or open forms still. It's just sparring is what I specialize in at the end of the day.
That's a great way to put it. That's what I specialize in. That's a great way.
I like
so you had you really kind of mapped it out very, very great and articulate the way, like, what your time was straight up. So the All-Stars have had a number of different, I would say, almost like phases, you know? But this is an interesting thing. If you think about it, Robbie, you and I have competed around this same time frame, plus you've gone past. We've never fought each other.
Never.
That's not by accident. I'm going to tell you this right now. That's not by accident. Anytime, whatever team I'm on, most time NK, was matched up against the All-Stars. I kid you not. I can say it now because I'm done, right? I kid you not. There was a couple of things. It was like, number one, if BJ was on the team, BJ always wanted to fight Raymond, which I don't know, it was always the best idea, you know? But really the only strategy we had was Alex doesn't fight Robbie. Kid you not. All right? Stylistically, it's not a great matchup. Not at all. And here, let's look at it. Sometimes you have to stereotype when you're fighting because you're about to go in and potentially get busted in the face. You have to figure out some kind of game plan if you don't know this person, or even more so if you do know the person. I'm taller. I'm longer. I stand taller. So this is bad matchup, right? Already it's bad, right? We're in a close stance, right side. I'm going to extend and I'm going to stretch my body out. This is bad. In kick city, just waiting for me. All right. So we haven't even talked about that. That's not just the blitz. It's the spin kick. The spin kick. I would probably say greatest spin hook kicker I've ever seen. Greatest I've ever seen. Just a spin hook kick. Abso-freaking-lutely. Here's what I'll say. How many spin hook kicks have you landed where you haven't gotten the point because your hand touched or got close to touching? I don't even think you could count.
No, absolutely. Like one thing, that one NASCAR rule that actually that I was super pumped that changed is, or they actually made, is where you can actually put your hand down on the ground, you know?
Yeah.
And still to this day, like sometimes I don't necessarily, the funny thing is, a lot of times I don't necessarily throw it to score. I throw it just to knock or to stop the kicker's momentum from coming at me. You know, I make them kind of second guess, where like a lot of kickers just want to keep going and pump, and they try to close the distance. They try to bully you back, try to knock you on the edge where they have that advantage, right? Or if they constantly feel like they have nothing, that you have nothing to stop them from coming at you, they're just going to keep coming at you. So I'll try to spin on a kicker just to knock him off balance, right? Or I spin on the kicker just to make him not feel like he can just push me back, you know, like, and then eventually they're going to be hesitant when they kick. And when they're hesitant when they kick, they're going to try to go to plan B. And their plan B is going to be their hands. And that's a lot of kickers try to go to their hands, are not that comfortable. Or even if they're a good puncher, they're not comfortable doing it, and they don't have belief in their punches. And when you break that person's game plan, they get frustrated, they get down on themselves, they become hesitant. You have all the momentum.
Right. Yes. Man, I remember talking to Cass about this, and we were talking about like NASCAR fighters whose style actually fits better with NBL than NBL fighters that actually fit better with NASCAR. And it was like Robbie was always the one, because you could spin hook kick anyone as long as you got that extra little flexibility with your hand on the ground, right? Because, I mean, again, when you're especially going in grands, right, you're going against someone even like a Trevor You know, you're not going to get a spin hook kick to the head unless you put that hand on the ground to get the extra little, you know.
He's like a solid foot taller than me.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so there's things like that. So I always just thought it was funny, like looking at that and breaking that down. But dude, I love seeing your spin hook kicks.
Thanks, man.
I mean, just crazy. So I think it was. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a Diamonds 2013 or 2014 where you fought. I mean, you might have fought him. I don't know if you fought Trevor or not, but you fought someone that was super tall and you hit him with a spin hook kick. And they didn't give it to you because of your hand on the ground.
I think I was fighting. I think it was Trevor Zolt. I was fighting him because I won the lightweight. I won the lightweight grand, and then we were fighting off who would go for the ring at night. Because at that point there was still only one ring, right?
Right.
So I won the lightweight runoff. So I was fighting either the middleweight or the heavyweight grand winner. And I think it was Trevor Zolt in that year.
So again, same type of situation.
And you fought the middleweight winner, and you were fighting Zolt.
Right.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah.
It was 2013, and you were fighting Zolt, the middleweight winner. Yeah.
I think I fought Hamed for lightweight grand or Joe Fife. I forget who it was that year, but it was one of those two that year. And then I fought Zolt afterwards.
All right. So you've been on All Stars since 2006, right? So explain and you talked a little bit about just what it's like, you know, being with Raymond and Jason and Jack and all those guys. And Alex was talking about the different phases of that team. But really, like the stronghold of that team has still been the same core group, right? Added with some new people in there. And just talk about that bond you guys have, you know?
Yeah, it's just, like, I was out in California with Ray and Jack for a while too, and it's just we when we started the team, like we were already me Raymond and Jason and stuff like that. We're already teammates for a couple years before that, which straight up. So we already built a relationship, and then Jack and Jack too, like have known each other since we were 12, 13 years old because we would compete against each other and see each other at tournaments.
Yeah,
so me and Jack were always. Me and Jack were always causing ruckus, you know? So, but we're always hanging out at tournaments. We're the same age and stuff like that, right? So he's a little bit younger than me. But me and Jack always had a great relationship. Jack and Raymond always had a great relationship. Jody and Ray, because Jody was one of the original members as well, too, right? So we all had that. We all had that relationship, and I knew Jody from when I was like 13, 14 years old too, because just seeing him at tournaments, I talked to him and stuff like that. And so we all already had relationships, right? We already knew each other. We had good friendships, and just when you travel for so long with people, you create a really strong bond and you build a lot of chemistry. And we now to this day, like, me, Jack, and Raymond have been teammates for
15 years.
About 15 years now, you know? So, about 15 years.
It's crazy.
So, like, we obviously have that trust in each other. We have that chemistry, you know? So, I know Raymond's not doing point sparring anymore, but me and Jack are. And me and Jack have known each other for 20 years, you know, and we've been friends for over 20 years. And we've known Kevin forever, you know. We've known Elijah since Elijah was shorter than me, you know. So
that's a great way to put it.
And and same with Chris Walker, Joe Fife, Jamal. Like we've known each other for so long. Like I don't even consider us a team. We're more like a family. Like we're always there for each other. We talk on a daily basis, you know, like every single day we talk to each other. We goof around in a team chat, you know, and we talk about everything. We like sometimes we don't even talk about karate or training. We talk about life, man, and just how each other are doing and just how their kids are doing or how somebody, you know what I mean? Like how the family's doing. So that makes it easier to trust each other too when you go out there and compete, especially in a team event or even fighting individually. You trust the people behind you have your best interest in mind, you know. And we're like a family, man. One big goofy family.
So you mentioned something. You said, you know, Jack and I, we always get together, we cause a ruckus. Speaking of that, I don't really know anything about this. I heard, because you guys travel all over the world. You guys will really fight and win all over. So I heard that you guys caused some ruckus one time, and you guys got kicked out of like a restaurant or like a bar, something like that. It's somewhere in like Austria or something like that. I heard.
Oh, I don't know, man. Like it's been a long time since we've caused any trouble. It might have been like back when we were a little bit younger, but
oh yeah, it was a number of years ago, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember, man. Just we always have a good time. Like obviously, when people go out, there's gonna be some words to say, you know what I mean? But I can't really remember a time where we actually got in any kind of trouble. You know, we're all pretty level headed. We all got a decent head on our shoulders for the most part, you know.
Yeah.
We've never gotten into any trouble. We've had some great times, man. I can't say we haven't had some amazing times, but yeah, we just like to have fun, man. We never cause any trouble. We never really do anything to get us in trouble, you know. So we all just like to have fun, like to have a good time, and hang out with each other when it comes down to, you know. We like spending time with each other, and we try to make the best of it anytime we can.
Sweet.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
So I kind of mentioned to you, like, hey, we never fought each other. That was not an accident. That was by design. Is there somebody that you still haven't fought that you want to fight? Or is there somebody that you never got a chance to fight that you're like, I wish I could have? You know what I mean?
I honestly, one person I've always looked up to them since I was a kid was Tony Young. I would love to get the opportunity of have fought him, even if I was younger, because I fought a lot of people, man. It's just like when I was coming up, some people, even like the older generation, was kind of going away, you know, and just stuff like that. But Tony Young has always been somebody that I've kind of wanted to be when I was a kid. I saw him win the 95 diamond ring, you know, and just ever since then, he's been kind of like one of those people where I want to be as good at and mentioned in the same kind of category when it comes to lightweights and super lightweights. But he's one person that I've always wanted to compete against. I want to test myself. I've always been one to that. I've never been one to shy away from competition. You know, I want to fight the best, and I'll always try to have success, and always try to fight the best, and whoever that might be, and he's the best super lightweight ever in my eyes. You know, so he's one person I want to try to test myself against.
Yeah, and to me, those are the two best super lightweights ever, you and Tony Young. So I think that definitely would be the fight that we want to see. Kind of like what we talked about last week, Alex. It's like if there was some technology, you know, let's make it happen.
Exactly. You know what's funny is I was talking to Larry Carnahan probably 10 years ago, and when I think he was talking about doing like a lightweight, he was talking to me about maybe we just don't do a one diamond ring, and I'm like, and I thought he was like, there's no way this will ever happen, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's ridiculous. Like, and he goes, if you think about it, why the super lightweight doesn't matter? And I went, what? And he goes, they don't win the overall anyway. And I go, time out. No. And he goes, Tony Young's the only super lightweight to ever win a diamond ring. And I stopped, and I'm like, damn it. Oh, but are you right? So now you got to win one.
Yeah, that's one of my goals. That's one thing I do want to accomplish. And like, I've been pretty close a few times. Like in the finals, last couple, like always in the runoffs, at least 5 or 6 times. Yeah. And I've lost to Trevor, Zolt, Raymond twice, and Jason. You know, so like, right. You know, I won that lightweight overall, and if it was at that point where it was lightweight and heavyweight overall,
we'd already have.
I'd already have a few, right? So like, because all those guys are all in the heavyweight bracket at that point, you know. Right. And I don't care. I like the one ring. I've always been a fan of the one ring. I don't know if I'm even a fan to this day of the 2 rings. even though it might play in my favor one of these years, but I'm not a fan of the two rings.
Even the guys that have won either heavyweight or lightweight, it doesn't sound like they're really a fan of it either, because they reach this accomplishment and they're the champion, and they look over across the other side of the ring and someone else holding their ring like they're the champion, and they feel slighted.
I haven't had that opportunity yet, but I'm sure I'll be happy. But at the same time, like, I like having an overall grand championship, just being that last man standing. It feels good to be the last man standing at the end of the day and be like, I won. And like, you didn't lose a fight, and you were the best fighter at that tournament that day, know? And like I know we have every tournament has an open weight now, but it's still a little bit different, It's still like, because you might not fight that other winner of the whole thing in the heavyweight bracket, like different matchups, different styles, and kind of different rules at times too. So I don't know. I really like the overall grand. I think now we should have that one lightweight overall against the heavyweight overall. Kind of like what they did at what they almost do at AKs now with the Warrior Cup. Yeah, it's kind of cool where they have the open weight winner, 30 to 39 winner, then the lightweight and the heavyweight overall. Like I like that system.
Yeah, I like that system too. Yeah,
and maybe for something like a diamond ring, like at the diamonds, that would be something really cool. Like that's that one trophy. Yeah, I'm the best lightweight at this tournament, but I want to be the best fighter at this tournament this weekend. Or on this Saturday night.
Yeah, because in the 90s they did that with the diamonds and the bluegrass. They put the senior fighter in there with the other three divisional grands and and threw it in there, kind of like what AKAs does now. And I know Pan Am's is one of the only ones that has the two winners go against each other for an extra 500 or extra money.
Yeah.
So tournaments like that, doing that, it's cool. I like that. I mean, that was something that I always push for me as a promoter, was doing an overall grand, because I think it's just important.
I like it. I like it. Like give away an extra prize for that overall. Still have the lightweight overall, the heavyweight overall. Then give something a little special to an overall winner.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's money or if it's a watch, a ring, something.
Anything, or a championship belt or anything. Something a little bit different. So
I mean,
like
anything. It's a gift card to Target. Don't matter. Let's buy.
Like for me, man, it's never been about like that extra prize money, man. It's more about like the memories and what I've been able to do. Like it's about what I've been able to accomplish and what I've like all the hard work and like seeing what I've been able to accomplish, see what I'm capable of if I'm working hard with the work ethic. The money is nothing, man. Like, realistic, what's $1,000? What's an extra 500? Like that's not. It's nice little extra pocket change for the next week or so. But at the end of the day, man, it's the memories and what you're able to see, what you're able to accomplish when you put forth your best effort, and how hard you work, and just seeing what you're actually truly capable of in something that you love to do, and what you're able to achieve at the end of the day.
So in the end of the day, Robbie, you are probably going to be going down as one of the most accomplished fighters ever. Winning, like every single world title there is or was, in the sport karate, major ones, So that's really cool. Like you've won an NBL, a NASCA for, in the States area. You won WKA, WKC, WACO. What else am I missing? I mean, those are the main 5 from the years. So.
I've won all of those actually. So like, those are all the ones I really competed in, where I've gotten a chance to compete in, and I've done well at those.
An Irish Open division, right? You've won your division.
I've won I've won my Irish Open division a bunch. I've won Best Fighter. I've won Flanders. I've won Athens Challenge. I've won the open weight at Bristol and my weight division there as well. And so I've been able to do some stuff. So
I mean, it's amazing. And so for a fighter, when people see you and they say, "Oh, he's too short, he's too small, I don't have to worry about him," and for you to have those accomplishments, it's not just cool for you, but it's a motivation for others too. It's an inspiration for others as well, that there's no limits, right? So just explain your mindset of that. I know you talked about in the beginning that you've used it as your advantage, but just explain your mindset of, what's helped you win.
Jay, what's helped me win is just I've ever since I was a kid, I've been instilled hard work. Like my instructors always believed in hard work, and I saw Dominic and Fortunato compete too when I was younger, and they're not the biggest guys, but they had success. You know what I mean? So I had those people to look up to, but I've always had this self-belief in myself. I don't know what it's from. Maybe how people talked to me when I was younger, and just my instructors' faith in me, and just the people around me. You got to think about the people around you and the words that they put into your ears, especially when you're younger, I think it's so important, but yeah, I've just always had a belief in just, if I worked hard enough and tried my very best at something, I could be good at whatever I wanted to do. And and then like to this day, it's just like I have students at times, or even parents see me at tournaments, like people, like kids like 14, 13, however old, them and their parents come up to me and they're like, oh, my kid's short, he's struggling. Or even the kid comes, he's like, I'm smaller, like what do I do? What this and that. I was just like, believe in yourself, man. It's just like there's some people that are small, and they just they struggle with it. They're like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Why not? Is what I say. Like, why can't you? Like, what is there? Like, and then I get like sometimes, like a little while ago, this was a couple of years ago, like somebody wanted to quit sparring, and they're like, and they came up to me and they were like, I'm too short. I was so pissed. I was pissed. And they were like twice the size I was when I was like their age, and I talked to them, and it's just at the end of the day, man, it comes down to your work ethic and just the stuff that people around you and the stuff you put into your own head. It comes down to having that self-belief, having courage too, right? You got to show courage to put yourself out there and help and make yourself grow, like you got to challenge yourself. If you stay in your comfort zone and be like, oh, and make these excuses like, oh, I'm short, oh, I'm too small, like you're going to be friggin' stuck there, and just it comes with any area of life. If you're just telling yourself these negative things or making excuses for yourself of why you lost, that's why you lost, like if you're like, oh, I'm too short, this guy beat me because I'm too short, that's your problem.
Yep.
And just as long as you believe in yourself, you work hard and say the things and don't make excuses. Like being short is a petty excuse. For me, it's a petty excuse. I don't want to hear anybody ever say that, and it's just like some people, like sometimes I've lost at a tournament and they're like, somebody will come up to me and be like, oh, they were so much taller than you. Shit, I don't care that they were taller than me. They were just better than me on that day, And that irks me when people say that, and just hard work, being confident, and just having courage to put yourself out there to learn and grow and just take things in and challenge yourself, man.
Love it.
Well, speaking of challenge, you've been had a lot of challenges. I remember there's a few tournaments where I looked at it like you had almost like an unfair road. Like, all right, specifically, I'll say the Irish Open in the open weight, and I look at each bracket, right? And they kind of it's supposed to be random, but it can't just be random because it can't be, because you could end up with all Team Corrali in one bracket, could end up with all stars in one. You kind of can't. So you got to see, and everybody kind of knows that. But I always kind of find it interesting, like Zolt's bracket.
Yeah, me and Zolt have been in the same. It was like me, Zolt, Trevor. It was a stacked bracket. I remember that year too. That was a really good bracket. Yeah.
And then there was another one where I looked, and his bracket, you might know two other guys. And then I looked at yours, and there was you, There was Kevin Walker. There was Roman. There was Laszlo. There was Richie Perez.
There was Enrique. Yeah, man. It gets crazy. And like,
and you're like, wait a minute. This is one bracket? And it was. And it was like, hi, that's not fair.
Yeah. I've had some tough goes, man. And like, it is what it is, man. I don't care. And you're going to have to get through one or two of those guys anyways to make it to that podium, you know, and be on top of that podium. You got to beat everybody. So why not get them right away? You know, it would be maybe a little bit nicer to get them in a 2-round thing, but who cares, man? You're going to have to beat them anyways. You're going to have to beat one of them. Sucks to have to beat 2 or 3 of them, but at the end of the day, it's about being the best on that day, you know, and anybody can get a W. Any of us on that day could have won that bracket, you know. And it just happened to be whoever it was that day, you know. So to that, whoever it was, probably Roman that day. Congratulations to Roman. He's a great fighter, and he was better guy on that day. And
more, Robbie, I tell you what, because you don't get like upset.
No,
about
of course
nothing.
not.
Yeah. Oh man, I got
it's
the other side of the pillow.
You can't change the things you can't control.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hey, Robbie, I got a couple of questions.
Animated nature doesn't work well with that.
That's true. Robbie, I got a couple of questions before we finish up. All right. So right now, like this new crop of up and coming lightweights, super lightweights, there's a lot of new kids, really. I mean, really, some of them are not even 18 yet that are competing. You know, who are the ones that excite you competing? Who are you looking to? Who has maybe caught your eye, just of those guys?
One kid that is going to be great is going to be Enrique's little brother, Jason Latona, man. Yeah. He's a stud. He's going to be really good. And he's going to be coming up probably next year, end of this year. The kid's awesome, man. And he'll be a great super lightweight, great lightweight. Probably end up being a lightweight because it's a little bit bigger, a little bit more muscular, you know. So he'll probably be in the 140, 49 division, but he might even be a super lightweight too if he cuts a little bit of weight, a couple pounds, you know. He's probably about buck 40 something, you know. But that kid excites me, and hopefully, and when the world opens up, we get to compete against each other, man. He's a great kid. I've known him for a long time. There's a whole bunch, man. Blake Spence is good too. I got to fight him. I fought him a whole bunch already. I never fought Sergio Brendan. He's not a kid, but never got to fight him. There's a few guys that I haven't had a chance to fight yet, you know. So whoever it may be, looking forward to it, man.
That's cool.
It's cool to see the new group coming up. Like I've seen about 10 different groups coming up, you know, and just it's kind of cool, man. And then you get those new kids coming at you sometimes, and after you beat them the first time they come out, they come up and like, I'm gonna beat you, and I'm just like, you got to try your best, buddy. And still hasn't really happened yet. So awesome. I've had that a lot, man. Just through the last 5 years.
There's one specifically of that. I'll never forget this kid, Devin Burke, where you did that too. And it was his first time out. And it was the first time of the year. It was in compete. And then you put on a clinic.
Yeah. And then he comes up and he's like, I'm going to beat you. I was just like, try your best, man.
And he lasted many tournaments after that.
Yeah, he lasted like 3 or 4. I just smashed him 3 or 4 tournaments in a row and never saw him again.
Dang. All right. So what about in the past? Like, who are some? All right, we already talked about Tony Young, and then you talked about Robbie Hughes. Who are some of your toughest competitors, like growing up? You know, and then maybe who's someone else that you wish you would have been able to fight?
Kind of growing up in like teenager years, or more as a young
adult.
Or
even adult. Yeah. Let's talk about adult.
Yeah, Robbie Hughes is probably my toughest competitor as a junior, man. He was definitely my toughest competitor as a junior. Jack Felton was tough. Nate Windsor, Willie, like Joe Fife, like Alex Lane, like our junior years were stacked.
The craziest junior group
Ross,
ever.
Like yeah, it's just yeah, I was just insane, man. It was just like, I think that's what had like helped me with my success growing up too, was the talent pool of my 14 to 17-year-old. It's just like how big like there was like 10 to 12 of us that even to this day we dominated and did really well in the adult divisions. Like, I've had success. Jack, Willie, Nate, Ross, Alex Lane, Joe Fife, like even Jeremy Roque was in that division. Obeda was in that division. Like,
it's crazy.
Come on. I don't think there was a better pool of juniors in that, like, just beating. There was Jerry Jackson was even in there, like, and Matt Everett, like, it was like,
there's so many, even people that aren't around anymore that people were worried about,
even
Mark Hennig now, kid from Pacheco School, he was really good. I'm trying to think.
Fidel,
yeah.
Fidel was really good too. Like, just, I think, man, it's just like all that was, it's incredible to be like, and we've, like, most of us fought each other every single month from when we were 12, 13 years old till we were in the adult division, and just fighting against all those guys and us fighting against each other. It carried over into the adult division, and like, that's what made me work as hard as I did, and why all of us had success. And like, all of that, the people I've said, we've all done well as adults. We've all won championships. We've all won world titles. We've all won grands. So like, I think us pushing each other on a monthly basis or weekly basis at times helped us have that success too. Like, we challenged each other all the time and really truly pushed each other to be better. So that junior group is probably one of the best couple junior divisions I can say ever. Like, I put us against anybody.
And that group started coming out 2003, 2004, 2005 into the adults, and it was crazy.
Real quick, Robbie, are you ever gonna fight full contact?
I have, man. I've done a couple amateur fights. I've done a pro K1 fight before too. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I'd do it again without a heartbeat. It's just got to be the right time, right? Just the right moment. Like, I'm having fun doing sport karate. Sport karate is my love and my passion, and and like, at this point too, like I said, I just want to have more fun, have a great few years left in my career. Then I just want to teach. I want to hand down what was so freely given to me when I was younger. Kind of pass the torch, help the next generation, and just hand things down. And I hope somebody, one of my students will have more success than I've ever had.
Awesome.
That I can ever dream of. And like, that's after I'm done competing. Even right now, I want one of my students or a bunch of my students to have success and have the opportunities that I've had and that karate and sport karate have given to me. I've gotten to see so many countries, meet so many amazing people, and meet a great group of people, and have so many great memories and things to achieve. And just, I want other people to have the same kind of stuff that I've been able to have.
I think you should have a world kickboxing title before you're done.
I don't know
about for real.
I don't know about that, brother. I don't know.
It's got to be here. Like, you either want it or you don't. You don't want it. Don't do that.
I don't know. It's not in my sight, man. If something comes up, I still box from time to time. I still do full contact sparring from time to time. So it's just not my thing, man. I enjoy doing it. I just have fun. I like doing all kinds of martial arts, but my passion is sport karate. I love point fighting. My passion is sport karate. It's what I've excelled at. It's what I love to do. So if I'm being true to myself and staying true to myself, the sport karate is where I belong, and it's where I want to be.
Awesome, man. I think that was kind of his voicemail. He said several voicemail to the worlds, Alex.
He really did. Yeah.
Man, this has been so much fun, Robbie. Always enjoyed hanging out with you since we were, I don't know, really young, 12.
yeah.
Hey, what's the next event for you?
Hopefully, they're talking about Pro Point for the minus 139 in April at some point. So hopefully then, man. Hopefully then. So it'll be nice to fight in those rules in my weight class, you know.
Right.
So more of a little bit of full contact kind of point, kind of like the old PKC Warrior Challenge type thing, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what the kind of the feel is and stuff like that. But it'll be nice having a weight class for myself this time. You know, I waited at 138. It was 169 and under. That's a lot of weight for those kind of rules, you know. So I'm looking forward to hopefully that comes into fruition in April. That's what hopefully around April, May kind of time. I know the next one is March 12th, and then the next one after that, whatever date they choose, I heard is the minus 139, so my weight class. So hopefully then, man. Hopefully then, and
awesome.
I'm ready to go, man. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm like, my weight's good, everything's on point.
Sweet,
just waiting
man.
for the call.
Sweet, man.
Man, we're gonna be looking out for you.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, you guys.
All right,
thanks for having
Robbie.
me, man. I had a blast.
Hey, this was so much fun, man.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next time.